Welcome to the Masterpiece Effect, where we don't just chase success, we craft it. I'm Elle Nagy, self-leadership alchemist, Ironman finisher, and your guide on this unconventional journey to elite performance, legacy, and self-mastery. This is not your average personal development podcast. Here, we're questioning the narratives, dismantling limitations, and redefining what it means to lead yourself, your life, and your legacy. If you're ready to move beyond high achievement into intentional creation, you're in the right place. Let's begin crafting the ultimate masterpiece, you.
Have you ever noticed how conditioned we are to seek approval and ask for permission? We thought, as did our parents, that in order for us to keep our children safe, to make them good citizens of the world, to make them pleasant and nice to be around, we had to teach them how to ask for permission so they don't step on anybody's toes, and seek approval so that they can belong to whatever the tribe is that they need to belong to in order for them to be safe. But let me ask you this, my friend. When last have you given yourself permission? Permission to be your greatest self in whatever form that takes. Now, when I'm thinking of my greatest self, what I think of is, as my greatest self, how do I show up in this world? What is my level of health, my level of vitality, the frequency and focus of my thoughts, the words that I speak to express myself to others, the way that I move my body, the way that I connect with other human beings, the way that I create. And this will depend on who I'm surrounding myself with. If I'm surrounding myself with just people who want to get through the day, they will have a certain standard. And if I'm surrounding myself with people who are on fire, inspired, go-getters, let's create, let's elevate, then that will be a completely different standard as well. So all of these things will impact what is the standard that I'm holding myself. And then I have a choice of whether I'm going to hold myself at the lowest standard, at the medium standards, or at the highest standards. What I have experienced is, depending on who we are surrounding ourselves with, for the majority of people, it has to be the lowest standard or the medium standard, because that is simply where mass consciousness is still operating. No judgment, because whatever is happening in mass consciousness is creating the greatest evolution in higher consciousness through desire, through contrast. So we are blessed to live in a time when so much contrast is being experienced, and thereby so much evolution is created within higher consciousness. Or I can give myself permission to play a bigger game, to play at my best potential. And with this comes a few things that I have to consider. Number one, which is what most people consider majority of the time, is who am I going to have to leave behind? But there is, of course, a catch-22 in this, because we are going on the assumption that the other people are not going to change, that the other people are going to stay the same so that we can all remain in each other's space. Maybe, maybe not. And also that the other people will continue to be interested in us if we remain the same. So people tend to then want to stay the same because they want to stay connected to the same people. And they will seek approval and ask permission from these people. No judgment, conditioning. But what if you actually started to approve of yourself by holding yourself to whatever standard you respect? You see, at the end of the day, I've come to realize that people come and go in my life, but the one constant from birth to death is me. I'm the one that has to look at myself in the mirror. And I can either do so from a space of absolute adoration and respect, or settling a little bit and trying to bullshit my way through, yes, 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 you are doing great, Elle. Have another bar of chocolate, or sleep in a little bit more, or create a little bit less. Doesn't matter. Your standards are still higher than most. You're still doing great. But I knew that, well, no, it's not. This is not my absolute best, because I know what my absolute best is. But giving ourselves permission to play at our absolute best seems to be something that most people are struggling with. Well, people are already telling me that I'm too much. Who do I think I am that I want to live this audaciously? Well, what if we stopped looking at anybody else and we stopped thinking about anybody else looking at us? And we stayed singularly focused on ourselves. Radical self-creation. Can you give yourself permission to do that? Can you give yourself permission to love yourself so much that you are unwilling to settle one iota, unwilling to settle in anything that you eat that doesn't express love and adoration for your body and everything that she does for you? Unwilling to settle for any kind of movement that does not enhance your body's power, flexibility, mobility, energy? Unable to settle for creating anything that doesn't fill you with absolute pride and delight and sharing it with other people? Unwilling to settle for any relationships, any partnerships that doesn't fill you up? Fill up your cup and you fill up theirs, because it is just so stimulating and rich and interesting and genuine. Unwilling to settle because you've given yourself permission to embody the greatness that you truly are. So where are you still asking for permission, still seeking approval, instead of giving yourself permission and seeking your own approval for who you are choosing to be in this world? At the end of the day, all we have is this life experience to express ourselves. And when we start remembering who we are, that we are in fact source energy in human form, evolving source consciousness through our human experience, creating and co-creating this experience, there comes a huge level of self-responsibility with this remembrance, with this reclamation. But honey, it's so worth it, because your life is going to change dramatically. But you will no longer be able to hide behind others and their lack of permission. You will only be able to look at yourself and go, okay, what are the actions that I'm taking? What is the feedback that I'm getting? And am I giving myself permission to do even better? My invitation to you is that you journal, contemplate, meditate on who would you be if you gave yourself permission to be your absolute greatest self. What would that feel like? What would that look like physically, mentally, emotionally? What would your relationships be like? What would your creative work look like? Radical permission to be your greatest self. It's worth taking the time to do this. And then not to shame yourself, but to really hold yourself to a new possibility of what is available for you and for the world if you choose that version of you. And with absolute self-love every single day, just making one new choice that is in more alignment with that version of you. And yes, allowing for the human experience, allowing for the failure and the tiredness and all the things along the way, without shaming, without judging, without self-criticizing, just observing and showing up again tomorrow. I really think it's time for more people, and especially for more women in this world, to stop seeking approval, to stop asking for permission for the things that they know will enhance their experience, and to start granting permission to self unapologetically. Your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Let's have that conversation.
That's it for today's episode of The Masterpiece Effect. But your transformation doesn't stop here. If something resonated, challenged you, or sparked a new insight, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts. Connect with me at ellenage.com. And if you found value in this conversation, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because life's too short for mediocrity. Let's create a masterpiece. See you next time.